There comes a time in every permaculture forest where it becomes a forest, a real live, like, oh my gosh, it's taking over the world forest. And you have to kind of start making some hard choices. Today, the hard choice I'm making is that I need to cut back my Siberian Peashrubs that are my nursery stock. When I want to start a new Siberian Peashrub somewhere else on the property, I come and I cut one of the really thick branches at the base. If you use something like this, it's not thick enough. You can put it in the ground, but it won't create roots and be happy. You have to go for something like this. This size, if you stick it in the ground, will create a new plant. And I go dig a hole, put it in the hole by about 1.5 feet, and then I make sure it's near a drip line. And then it'll turn into a new bush. I've done that several times now. And so everything in my backyard, I have elsewhere on my property, and that's how I work it, is that I have fruiting, seeding, cutting, all sorts of things in the backyard where I can water them really well off of our irrigation system from the canal. And then I can take cuttings, I can take branches, I can take fruit, I can take whatever I want to take and make a new baby that then I can put to more difficult parts of my property without it costing me anything. So that's why I do it this way. That's why I'm so crowded in my backyard, is because a lot of these are mother plants to make baby plants out of, and I only have to have 1 or 2 of them in order to be able to then spread them to other parts of the property or take cuttings for friends and family. These are the beans here. Once we get hot weather, these guys are going to start to shatter. My soil, even here in my backyard where it's really good, is not good enough that when this shatters, it actually starts baby Siberian Peashrub. But I might show me harvesting a little bit of this. All right, I wanted to show you what it sounds like when the Siberian Peashrubs are casting their seeds. Sorry, I've got baby lambs nibbling on the backs of my legs. Gotta stop talking so you can hear it. Did you hear that? Do you hear that? Okay. So it sounds like this little snap. And it's just these little curlicue guys. These have already finished. So it's going from one that looks like this to one that looks like this when you hear that snap, crackle, pop sound. So I do take cuttings from this and feed it to my rabbits and also to my goats. So when I harvest food for the rabbits, I just take a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I don't kill the plant. I just take a little bit. This year I've been taking quite a bit more from the willow just to keep it, you can see this is even, this is even, this is even, and then I get up here and I have a couple that are a little taller. Those are what I'm going to cut. So I'll put that there. It's hard to do this one-handed, but I'll try to get it. See? So what the amount that I'm cutting right now is enough for a mama, not enough for a cage with babies. So you can see we've got a lot of growth now since we got rid of the ducks. None of this would be here if we still had ducks, because the ducks will clean up everything under the trees. So sometimes it's really worth it to have a little bit of poultry. At the same time, our food forest is big enough that it doesn't really care about a few weeds, as long as it has enough moisture. So I'm gonna come over here. I like to take the really little green ones, about that size. This is one mama. This is her shade cloth in the morning to keep the sun off of her. I just gave her that little bundle that you saw me cut, and she's happy. She will get more bundle from the vegetable garden too. Oh, but this mama, she must have had babies in the night. Yeah. She had babies in the night. Should we get you some food, mama? I can see because she's taken all of the fur off of her belly. So let's go get her some food. So for a job like this, you use different tools. You use little hand cutters when you're getting it for rabbits. You use big loppers when you're getting it for goats. And then if you're actually trying to take it down, that little pink saw has actually turned out to be a lot more useful than I thought it would be. You can use a bow saw, but that little pink saw is making me eat my words. For some plants, animals are only interested in them during a certain season, or if they're really, really hungry. So I'm going to take these to the goats, see what kind of interest they have in them. And if they like them, but they don't love them that much, I'm going to cut this back a few days at a time so that they use it as forage every day instead of just trampling on it. We'll see. I'll show you whether or not they care about it. It is a yes. So she has lots and lots of grass. We'll probably need to bring her some hay too, but she's got water, she's got grass. Now she has Siberian Peashrubs. See what other girls want. Hi girls, you want some? So I think that's what I'll do. I'll cut some back every couple days. All right, rabbits have had some, big goats have had some. Now I'm going to take it up to the little lamb, and the little goat, and see what they think of life with these. It does mean I have cleanup later because I have to clean up the branches. But here, guys. There you go. Oh my gosh, that's dumb. I don't know what he was thinking. Why are you jumping at the fence, you goober? So I gave them a cutting that also had grape leaves on it, so they should enjoy that. Okay, you guys can see how we do this. We just put the feed on one side and we put the babies on the other. And that way they have to put their heads through to eat the hay. They can't walk on it. And that's how we do it with the big goats too, as long as they don't have horns. If they have horns, it definitely complicates our lives. It's come to the point where even the trees in the worst part of my property are starting to make babies. These are seeds from last year that didn't fall. This is my black locust. You can see it has flowers on it. We had a lot of rain this year. It was a huge blessing. Everything that was just kind of before. This is one of the Siberian Peashrubs that came from a cutting from the backyard. These are willows that came from cuttings from my backyard. These are comfrey that came from shoots from my backyard. This is a poplar that came from a cutting from my backyard. And so eventually it'll get there. And take advantage of those really wet years that you get and put down mulch. I didn't have the ability to get in as well with my scythe this year because everything has grown up so much. So I need to go get a weed whacker to get between the trees. I did already use the scythe in the pathways, everywhere that I didn't have trees. And so it's doing pretty good this year. Most everything that survived up here came from a cutting, not from a sapling or a seedling or a purchased tree. Everything that survived came from a well-watered spot where I took a cutting and then I babied it with rabbit manure tea, and that's how I did it. This is the one tree, fruit bush, plant that has not done well over time. This is an elderberry. I put it up here because back in the day this was one of the first things I planted on our property when we got here. And it dies back every year because the soil is not rich and it does not get a lot of water. This space is much better for very tough plants that are drought resistant, drought tolerant, and like alkaline soil. So this elderberry, I would love to just cut it back, but every time I cut it back, just little sprigs come back up. It dies, it comes back in another spot, so it's trying, but it's really meant for a nice, moist, rich part of the garden. The elderberry that I planted 2 years ago from Rain Tree Nursery is amazing. It is way bigger than this, and it's already produced, whereas this one, it produces spottily. Every once in a while we'll have a few good clusters, but then that part of the bush will die back after it's fruited. So not a good place for an elderberry. I need to just cut it back and let everything else spread into this spot. For one thing, it would allow me to graze more animals back here because elderberry is poisonous. I have taken cuttings from the one in the backyard that came from Rain Tree and put it in other spots, and it came up nicely. This one I just need to, this is a James and a John, I think, something like that. This also came from Rain Tree Garden. It's just the spot I put it in is not as good. Also, I've planted this type before, and if I remember right, I didn't like the flavor on the James and the Nova. There's a trio that's usually sold together, and that's what this is. But I liked the new variety that I got from Rain Tree better, and it's got kind of a weird name. It starts with an S, Samdul or Sambul or something like that, and it's amazing. But this one just ain't cutting it.